Mm. What's up, everybody, and welcome to leg number 2 of the Oxnard journey for Jeffrey. Leg number 1 was the rollaway bed at Broadus's room. Leg number 2 is the Best Western. Leg number 3 is the Airbnb. We're currently on leg number 2. Today is the blue-white scrimmage for the Cowboys. Woot woot! Which usually means that we're going to see a whole bunch of the young dudes play a bunch of football, which is a lot of fun. So that'll be coming up in 2 hours and 45 minutes, give or take. It'll be time for a blue or white scrimmage. So I wanted to knock out some stuff that people have asked that I haven't gotten to yet over the last few days. I wanted to talk about Jalen Tolbert. I wanted to talk about Trey Lance. I don't want to talk about whatever you guys wanted to talk about. So you may ask your questions. Feel free. Number 1, Jalen Tolbert. Let's see. Let me make sure I can show you guys if you're watching. I guess I haven't been uploading these things to podcasts, so you have to be watching. You can't just be listening. Let's see. I want to share my screen, right? No? Yeah, I want to share my screen. Dun, 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 dun. I hope you guys can see it. Can you guys see that? Yeah. Okay. You can see that? Yeah. Dak was a podium man yesterday. We got to talk to Dak a little bit. And when Dak speaks in non-generalities and non-corporate answers, what he is saying matters. When he speaks in generalities and corporate ways, it doesn't matter. So Dak talking about Jalen Tolbert, and he had said this before already in camp, that I told him your role is to go show you can be a number 1 receiver, at minimum number 2 receiver, or number 2 wide receiver. He's approached this camp with that intensity, with that mindset. He said the guy he spends the most time with in the offseason usually goes on to have a huge year. Mentioned CeeDee Lamb and Cedric Wilson in previous years. This year it was Tolbert. I don't want to put that pressure on him, but we spent a lot of time together. My trust is super, super high in him. I trust him with any route, whatever it is, against whoever. Dun, 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 dun. Stop sharing. Is Big B in the room? No, see, this is how Brian, how can we support you more than just super chats and whatnot? I mean, I guess you could Venmo me, Zelle me at Jeff-Cavanaugh 1 -1. I don't know. Yeah. So keep an eye on Jalen Tolbert, because this is a thing, and it has been a thing. Dak does elevate guys. Not just Cedric Wilson. I think Noah Brown, Pop, like Dak will get you paid, and Dak will get you some numbers if you are a guy that that he believes in and that he trusts. And Jalen Tolbert is becoming that guy, because the guy who hangs out in the Dak yard all the time is the guy that Dak starts liking to throw to. If you go over there and you're hanging out in the backyard and he's throwing the football to you all the time, guess what? He's going to want to throw the football to you. So Jalen Tolbert. Now, this goes into a question that I had been asked. And thank you in the super chats to Eli and Daniel. I love you guys. You're the best. I know it's not a lot, but it's all I got, my man. You are a killer. That's great. Hey, if you don't have a ton of money, don't ever send me money. I only want rich people to send me money. What happened to your nose, Jeff? It's just the lighting, I think. I've always had a crooked nose. I broke it when I was like 23. Yeah, right there. I've always had a busted nose. Okay, so what was I saying? Aren't all the wide receivers in the backyard? Sometimes. They all come over sometimes. But the guy who is there the most, the guy who's there. Because here's the thing about Dak, and Mike McCarthy mentioned it yesterday, like how he continues to get better and better and better. And it's because he's obsessed. McCarthy even said, he's like, if there was any knock on Dak, it's that he probably does too much away from the facility. Like he just keeps going and keeps working. So yeah, unless you're a psycho, you're not going to be there all the time that Dak is doing stuff, because Dak wants to do stuff at all times. And that's that. Story time on how you broke your nose. Flag football game, coming across the middle, running a drag route. Somebody came from the other side coming downhill, and pow! And so I shoved 2 things up in there, and I went back in the game, ran a post for a touchdown, and I never went to the doctor. So I'm sure it's perma broke. It's weird, right? So anyway, Jalen Tolbert is Dak's dude. And if you're Dak's dude, guess what? That's a good thing. So that goes to another question that I was asked. Or Brian was asked first, and while he was answering it on Twitter, we were sitting in the room talking about it, and it was about who are the people on this offense that defensive people fear, or who does anybody fear other than CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott. And my answer to that is kind of the reason that I hope that Kevontae Turpin gets more time on offense, because I think that's the answer. The answer is Turpin. Like, Tolbert's having a nice camp, and he can play, and he could go be wide receiver 3, and I think he'll be fine. He'll be okay. He'll be out there. He'll make plays. He'll make catches. He'll go one-on-one or whatever. But I don't think there's anybody else that when they come on the field, like when Jalen Tolbert jogs out onto the field, the defense thinks, okay, yep, here's their receivers. If Turpin comes out on the field, they're like, hey, watch the reverse. Hey, watch the, hey, remember that dude can freaking run. Like, that's the only other guy. Now, Ferg counts too. But I think everybody kind of knows what he is, right? He's a good tight end. He's probably a top 10 tight end in football, and he's probably getting better. Nice player down the seam. Nice player after the catch. Like, Jake Ferguson's good. But Turpin, I think, is the wild card that when he comes in a game, people literally are like, that guy, the punt returner's in. The dude with the juice, watch out. Screen, bomb. Like, that's the only guy. I think that's the guy. Turpin needs to get some run, and he is. Turpin is getting some run. They are doing, in every practice, he'll take at least one handoff, maybe two, sometimes from the backfield, sometimes on an end around, and that's good because he's probably our best running back. I shouldn't say that. Rico's good. CD and Turpin are probably our best running backs. With the new return rules, do you think Turpin will get multiple TD returns? Multiples. No. Does the league really fear Dak? Seems like the rest of the league thinks if they disguise their defense and make him throw 30-plus times, he'll make a mistake. I think there's a massive difference between NFL teams and tape-watching people and the general public when it comes to the thought of Dak. The only thing that Dak does not have is forgot the exact phrasing that I heard somebody use about like guys like Mahomes and Josh Allen. If there's no right answer to the test, they just create a new question because they can do weird crap with their arms and their legs, and like they're just super talented to get themselves out of stuff. But outside of being a superhuman, Dak's as good as there is in football. At pre-snap, at post-snap, at reading the defense, at delivering football, at decision-making. He's as good as it gets in the entire NFL. So yes, people who study the game and watch the game in that way know that Dak's one of the best quarterbacks in football. I think it's only Cowboy fans and their disappointment of the team's postseason performance are the ones who are like, no, he just can't get it done, or he's a choke artist, or he's not that good, or whatever. People who study the game and live the game know he's a monster. He just doesn't have the superhuman arm or the superhuman athleticism. Cooper Rush versus Trey Lance. Sorry, it's in the title. Got to talk about it. And I think if the Cowboys had a game tomorrow and Dak were not available to play football, Cooper Rush would play that game. I think that's where we are. And I think that's okay. This is Trey Lance's first training camp with the boys. And when you talk to his offensive coaches, they'll talk about the footwork that they want him to do out here and trying to get consistent with that. And when he gets it right, and when he's playing fast, reading fast, and his feet are fast, and it looks like he's getting a handle on what they want, then he tends to have good results. And when he doesn't seem as comfortable, he doesn't. And I would imagine Trey Lance is going to get so many reps in preseason because there's nothing to learn from Cooper Rush. Cooper, you know what he is. He's a solid decision maker. He's very comfortable in the offense. At the moment, if you had to start a game and Dak wasn't available, I think Cooper Rush starts that game. So we'll see what happens over the next month, but that's where I believe we are right now, and that's okay. It's very much a floor versus ceiling. Which guy do I feel more comfortable is going to go in there and play mistake-free football and keep me in it and give me a chance to win versus the guy with the awesome tools that if we could get him to play consistently, we would love to have him in the game. Dirk is in the super chat. That's either an upgraded rollaway bed or another room. No, this is step 2. The fan guys have gone home. Brian moved into the Cowboys facility where Jeff is not allowed. No non-Cowboys personnel are. And so I'm on step 2, which is the Best Western. Step 3 is the Airbnb, which I'll be in 4 days. 3 days, 4 days, 3 days, 4 days. Based on what you've seen so far, who's your tight end number 2? And would a guy like Linval Joseph be worth a look to you? Yes, Linval Joseph is worth a look to me, but I think the Cowboys know that he's not going anywhere. Tight end 2 at the moment, I believe, is Schoonmaker. He got banged up yesterday, which is kind of what he does. Let me see. Do we have... Come on, beat writers. What do you got for me? Scooney okay? We'll need a Scooney update. But, yeah, we'll need a Scooney update. He got banged up yesterday. But Scooney is tight end 2 at the moment. And tight end 3, I think, is a little bit of a battle, honestly. I think you could make the case for John Stevens. You could make the case for Peyton Hendershot. And if you want to block, maybe for Brevin Spanford. They kind of need Scooney to be healthy because I think John Stevens and Peyton Hendershot are both guys that are more receiver tight end and not blocker man tight end, and they'd like to have you do both. So they would love to have Schoonmaker be healthy and be tight end number 2. If you guys could do me a big favor and hit the thumbs up button, I'm sure mine's lagging a little bit behind, but to have 276 people here and only 6 likes, it's going to hurt the algorithm, and I'm never going to get filthy rich, and I need to get filthy rich. Okay, so we did Tolbert, we did Cooper Rush, and Trey Lance. So now, let me see if I have some questions from the people, and we will talk about the blue-white scrimmage, which is in a couple hours once it is over. Who's having a better camp, Trey or Cooper Rush? Cooper Rush, more consistent. Trey Lance showing all of his fun stuff every once in a while. Do you think Marquise Bell is going to see some starters time at safety? Only if they play with 3 safeties. The safety group is so good because Donovan Wilson's been having a nice camp. Malik Hooker is always going to have a nice camp. And when they go second team safeties, there's not even really a drop off. Marquise Bell and Wanye Thomas are both really good. They're both really good. You go 4 deep at safety with really nice players. How's Jalen Cropper doing? Good. And the thing, I really like Jalen Cropper, but this happens to me all the time. Boy, does Jeff love the undersized football player. But quickness is hard to deal with in football. Quickness is tough. When you've got a guy that's like Cropper's chance to make the team would be if he's the other kick return guy. If it's him and Turpin back there, that would probably be his way to make the team. But I like the little shifty separator. Jeff, if we had a significant D tackle by trade or some potential release by week 1 party at your house, I promise I won't forget the Cheez-It and dip. I love Cheez-Its. What running back looks the best? Rico Dowdle. Zeke had a nice run yesterday, which just goes to show you that I'm an honest man. Jeff, we haven't heard anything from Corey Crooms. I believe he's the one who got let go. Yeah, Crooms got let go when they brought in the 2 new, or was that not Crooms? I think it was. They got let go for the defensive ends that they signed. I have not seen Law Nation here, no. Can we get 4 safeties in the field? No, we cannot get 4 safeties. This is the updated roster, at least from yesterday. Which receiver did they let go? If Corey Crooms is still here, I wouldn't worry about it. He's not going to make the team. Other questions, Jeff. Get to the other questions. Bell. Looks like Hoffman will be the starting center, so is Beebe slated as a backup guard at this point until Zach retires? We'll see. Give us time to go through preseason games. But yeah, right now they do seem really comfortable with Brock Hoffman at center. And he looks good. Like he's fine, especially like I think as a pass protector. He's good as a run blocker. So far, when I'm watching Hoffman, I feel like he's more of a position blocker, kind of turn guys than he is a smash you in the mouth and move you around guy. And if Hoffman turns out to be the starter and they feel like he can be for multiple years, then yes, Cooper Beebe will be a backup guard and probably your right guard a year from now when Zach Martin retires, because I think this is Zach Martin's last year. Cooper got a few snaps at left guard yesterday, I believe. In what way, if any, do you feel like this team is better positioned to succeed since the last time we saw them on the field? Well, the only way they're ready to succeed better than the last time we saw them on the field is the last time I saw them on the field is they played an ass football game. And contrary to a lot of people's beliefs, They do not play ass against every team they play. But boy, they played butt against Green Bay. Offense started slow and gross. Defense went with gross for the entire game. And that's how they're better prepared, is you don't have to show up on the day of your postseason game and suck. And there's nothing that says that that has to be what happens. Normally they play competitive playoff games. Sometimes they win them. That was suck. No, Kerry, they're not going to bring in Randy White. Who's the best running back? Rico. Is Deuce still banged up? Yes, Deuce is on the cords. How's Overshone? Overshone looks really good. There's no evidence of his injury, really. He looks good. That dude can freaking fly. Thank you, Tommy, in the super chat. And so, yeah. All right. I'm about to eat my continental breakfast. And then you guys have a good day. And I'm going to go out to the blue white. And then we'll talk about it. How's Trey Lance looking? Okay. Up, oop, up, oop, up, oop. Who cusses the most? Jeff Scanina, defensive line coach. F word is his favorite word. Remember, you have no idea what anyone's going through, so be cool to everyone. We love you. I love you. Be easy.